Hello, welcome to Simply Liminal. My name is Stacy. This is my daily two-card reading for Thursday, June 6th, 2024. We are in that 6/6 portal, so it's a very special day. It also happens to be a new moon, which makes it extra special. So we are in the new moon in Gemini. This is the official date of that, and so Gemini is ruled by Mercury, who is about communication, expression, technology. And so we have that going on, also associated with air. And I mean, it's windy here where I'm at. So I find that interesting that we've got all this air energy when we're moving into Gemini, which is definitely an air sign. So I just wanted to mention that because I do think the new moons and full moons are definitely important in our cycles of life. So this week we are revisiting The Good Tarot by Colette Baron Reed. The artwork on this deck is by Jenna Della Grataglia, and this is gorgeous. We visited this deck back in April, I think. This is an oracle deck. Colette reworked this deck based on inspiration from tarot decks, which she worked with for years, mostly based on the Rider-Waite, or what we consider or call now the Smith Rider-Waite tarot. I mean, giving Pamela Smith Coleman Smith, credit for the artwork that she did in that deck. But Colette wanted to kind of rework this deck in an oracle form based on the traditional structure of the tarot, but designed with more modern and simple messages, and definitely tied to joy and positivity. So this is one of my favorite decks to work with. It's a nice bridge between oracle decks and tarot decks. If you don't know one or the other, this is kind of a good gateway between them. So as always, we look at two things for these daily readings that I do on this channel. I look at two cards. I look at the energy card, which is the force that's directed towards us from the world, the universe, our environment around us. And then our focus card is our intention, effort, or response that we put into that effort or into that energy. So this is the same amount of cards as a normal tarot deck. So that is 78 cards. And they're oracle size, so they're a little bit bigger, though sometimes you can find some ginormous tarot decks. My tarot decks are a little bit smaller and easier for my small hands to shuffle and hold and just kind of feel the energy of. But so I do my best to shuffle this deck without like spewing cards everywhere. It's a handful, but it's a gorgeous deck. So one thing that I do want to mention is that I always open a circle of light and love and protection around myself and my reading space, and that extends to these readings no matter how long these readings last, and to no matter when you see these readings, that you are protected. And I also believe that whenever you come to this reading, at whichever reading you come to, there's a message in there for you. It is intended for you, or there's something that you can learn and take away from that. So, I love liminal spaces. They're one of my favorite spaces. Liminal spaces are kind of like in-betweens or transition points, gateways, doorways, pathways, in-betweens. I think of the two times during the day, like the morning dawn and the evening dusk, as transition gateway spaces, liminal spaces as well. So, I also wanted to mention, not only are we in this new moon phase of Gemini, but that the world feels like it's really transitioning and changing as well during this new moon. The sun is kicking up lots of activity again. We're getting lots of solar storms. I think that's why we're seeing some of this blustery energy and weather on our planet. So just be aware of everything going around in our world is so much bigger sometimes than we can even feel or imagine. So anyways, let's take a look at our reading today. We'll look at two cards as always. So let's look at our energy card, and then let's look at our focus card. Okay. So Colette reworked this deck a little bit from the traditional names and structures. And one of the other things that she did is she just kind of moved away from the idea of the suit cards as being like swords, oh gosh, I got too many things going on here in my mind. Like the traditional things, like we think of the cards being wands for fire, swords for air, cups for water, pentacles for earth. She just went away with all of that and just went with the elements, which is beautiful. And then we also have the major arcana, or the trump cards, the first 22 cards in the deck, that have some reworked names too. And if we pull one of those, I'll talk about those. So let's take a look at our energy card for today. Well, we have the King of Earth. This is kind of a big gun to start off with. This is the top of the suit of Earth. And so he has mastered everything. And this is a beautiful card. This is an older gentleman. He is wearing a crown, like a stag antler crown. He's very controlled. He looks very knowledgeable. He looks like he has everything that he needs and knows what to do with it. So let me read the message here from the King of Earth. And the Earth is classically what in the tarot would be the pentacles, or the coins, or discs, depending on the different wording for it. So I'm going to read his message here. So the King of Earth, she says, stands for enterprising, philanthropy, ability to attract abundant wealth, magnanimous, conscious manifesting, and a reliable leader. And each of these court cards has 3 messages. So I'd like to read all of them because I think that they might apply to each of us a little bit differently, because we are still individuals in this game of life. So the first one is, I have trust and faith in the invisible and know it will manifest in the realm of form the way I need it to. The second message is, opportunity can be found anywhere and everywhere. Because I am competent and committed, I am ready for abundance to manifest now in the world of conditions, in a form that is aligned with my highest good. And the third message here is, I manifest all that I desire, consciously aware of the need to stay focused and grounded in the everyday work required. So while we're in this new moon in Gemini with all this air, blustery energy around us, I think it's important that the energy card that we get today is Earth, King of Earth. This is incredibly grounded energy. And sometimes when there's so much moving and shifting around us, we need to find places and ways to ground ourselves. So go outside in nature, put your feet on the bare grass, stand under the canopy of a tree. These are things that can help ground you. And the Earth is abundant, and she will help calm you during these blustery times. So let's take a look at our focus card and see what we have going on here that will help us know, here we have the moon. And of course, the moon is always an interesting card. So in traditional tarot, the moon is kind of one of those shifty cards, actually, even though I love the moon and I love its energy. It's a card kind of hidden meanings, or that things are being withheld from you. But of course, Colette has a very different look at some of this stuff, which is one of the reasons I loved her interpretation of these and think it's so important to read this energy. But the moon, traditionally, like in the way we look at the moon, is very watery, feminine energy. So it's mysterious, it's tied to the night, though of course sometimes you can see the moon during the day. Let me read what her message is. And like I said, she's tried to put a more positive slant on this, but this is one of those cards in traditional tarot that's a little bit sketchy, and it turns up and you're like, is something being hidden from me? Is something lying to me? But her message here is that the moon stands for illusion. And the message is, I may not see the workings of spirit in the invisible realms, but I know there is great activity behind the scenes. It is important to trust the mystery and remember that the material realm is an illusion. Current conditions are not necessarily a reflection of the truth of what's really going on in the present. Great opportunities lie in the shadows, awaiting for the perfect time for illumination. So I think that last line is very important and really ties into, the hidden illusional energy of the moon. Great opportunities lie in the shadows, awaiting the perfect time for illumination. So we know that there's something coming for us. And so I think this is a message of just kind of waiting today, waiting to see what lies in the shadow and making sure that you have yourself grounded. So I hope you found this reading helpful. I hope you've connected with it in some way. Please like, please subscribe, please share. Thank you so much for watching this reading today. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope you have a wonderful and blessed new moon.